It's freezing, bro. Damn. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. A little bit of honesty here, a bit of transparency. I've actually recorded this video. This would be my 4th time. The past 3 were moto vlogs. The first one was horrendous. I kept rambling on. I didn't like it. Second one, I just didn't like the way it came out and the audio was pretty bad. Third one was kind of spot on. It was really, really good. Unfortunately, there were some files missing for some reason when I transferred it over and I didn't realize it, and I formatted the memory card and I was missing like 10 minutes worth of footage. So I decided, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna record a regular style video and just be done with it. So I want to talk about my Livewire. I finally officially have a 2021 Livewire One. I'm very excited, very happy that I have it. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the pickup process and my experience with it so far. Right now, it's already due for its 1K service. Today marks 3 weeks I've had it, and I think I have almost 1,300 miles on it. So the pickup process, in my last vlog, I had talked about how the paperwork that was sent to my co-signer was supposed to be overnighted. It was supposed to happen. Basically, I was supposed to pick up the bike essentially Saturday. That didn't happen. They didn't send out the paperwork till Friday morning, I believe it was. So my co-signer didn't get the paperwork until Monday. They signed it, returned it, so it was gonna come back that Tuesday. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead, rent the trailer, and I vlogged this whole experience on my GoPro, picking up the trailer and all this other good stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'll just go there that morning, because FedEx said it was gonna be delivered by 4:30 p.m., the paperwork. So I was like, I'll just go up there, and whenever it shows up, I can just load it on and I can just go. And one of the reasons I wanted to do that was because it was going to rain essentially every other day, and Tuesday was like the perfect day. So everything just kind of worked out. But if you noticed in my last vlog, near the beginning, I was talking about it raining, and I had some foreshadowing. I'll have to be next week sometime. It's gonna rain Monday and Tuesday, I believe, and I don't want to trailer it, you know, an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes in the rain. I just don't want to do that. So epic foreshadowing going. So what I did is I got there, picked up, I woke up, picked up the trailer. I got there at 10:30, and I was like, I'll just wait around. It's fine. You know, there's a comic shop. There's a bunch of stuff around the area, so I was like, I'll just wait around. But I didn't stray too far from the dealership. I basically sat in the truck for about an hour. Then I went in. Then I wandered around for about an hour. Then I left, went back to the truck, went to the comic shop that was close by there. And comic shop was really nice. I liked it a lot. They had really good pricing on some of the stuff, good selection. They had awesome figures and statues for insanely good prices. But I didn't end up picking up anything. Lunchtime rolls around, and I'm like, you know what? Still not here. I'll just go ahead and grab some food, ate lunch and everything. And like I said, I recorded like little bits and pieces throughout the day, and throughout the entire experience, you can see my happiness wane. You know, I was super excited that morning. Even when I got there, I'm very excited. And you can just see like just the downslope of my happiness and excitement during that whole day. Oh man, good morning everybody. Today is oh my God, it's such a great day. All right. Trailer's been picked up. We are ready to go. Oh man. I'm here at the Harley dealership. I need to pick up the Livewire. It's sitting right there. Like, it's inside the building. I have a direct line of sight. I can't see it from here, but I know exactly where it's at. It's got the sold sign on it and everything. It's got the keys hanging on it. It's right there. I mean, it's literally like 100 feet from me. And I've got to wait for FedEx to show up with the packet of paperwork. It's been 5 hours. Like, I'm not even joking. I've been sitting here, not in the truck. I've gone in and out of fucking Harley for 5 hours, and the FedEx guy still hasn't arrived. It says before 4:30 p.m., but like the, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't just get lucky and have the guy show up at like noon. "20 minutes till 4:30, which is FedEx is supposed to deliver my papers before or by 4:30. Like I said, I legit don't think I'm getting it today. During that whole day, because FedEx didn't show up until exactly 4:30 p.m. and I was miserable by that point. I was still happy that I was picking up the bike and everything, but I was still just generally just miserable because I wanted to get home as soon as possible and squeeze in a ride that day and everything, but it just didn't happen. So, and I thought, like, man, there's no way I'll be able to pick it up. I don't know if they'll be able to give me a temp tag or any of that stuff. So I just wasn't in the best of moods. So anyway, go on, finally get the bike. I get on it and I just cruise around the parking lot just for a second, you know what I mean? And also because there's an app where you can actually pair up the motorcycle and everything. You have to put in your VIN number and all that good stuff. Ended up doing it, and there's a sequence you have to do in order to, like, hey, all right, this is your bike and everything. You're not just putting in a random VIN number from a dealership and messing with it. So I got it, and I kid you not, the very second I got it onto the trailer, not when I was going up the ramp, not the entire like 10-15 minutes beforehand when I was riding around the parking lot. The second I got onto the trailer and put the kickstand down and put the bike down for a second, it just started raining. And I was like, you know. Well, all right. Finally, after 6.5 hours, oh my God, finally was able to get the bike, get everything done, and like get it out of the building. And the second I do, it starts raining. He couldn't have come at like 11 o'clock and I could have been home and fine by then. Oh man, the very thing I wanted to avoid just happened anyway, you know? And I was like, man, come on. So anyhow, I picked it up, started getting on the road, and I noticed that the flashers on the Livewire are like flashing back and forth. And then it would stop for a minute and they would just flash again. And I'm thinking, what is this? And it turns out that was actually like the alarm. There's actually an alarm on the Livewire that comes, but there's no audible part of it. That's optional. But it will flash and send you notifications to your phone saying, hey, your bike's being messed with. You might want to do something about it. I thought that was cool, but I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to shut it off or anything. Again, it's pouring rain. I didn't want to sit out there in the pouring rain and figure this out with my phone out and everything. So I just left and the flashers were just flashing the whole way home. And then the Google takes me like away from the highway on this like back route. It's called 16 around here. And I'm like, man, so the whole time I'm just riding, it's sketchy. I'm just worried about the bike and I'm worried about towing this thing in the rain. I was just all worries the whole way. So I get on the highway that's, you know, we're pretty close to the house, so it throws me back on the highway. But I noticed something. As I'm going on the on-ramp, I see a motorcycle off to the side, and then I realize, oh, he's actually tipped over, like he's on the bags. You know, it looks like a bagger. So I was like, oh, man, I don't see anybody stopping. It's pouring rain. So I said, you know what? Fine. You know, I have to help him. If I was in that predicament, I'd want somebody to come help me out. So I pulled over, got out, and we barely picked this thing back up. You know, I'm not exactly the world's strongest man, and he was an older gentleman, so, but we managed to do it. He lost a highway peg. That was it, and he was thankful, and then I just went on my way. That was it. So I got home, unloaded it in the rain, came out, you know, put it in the carport, dried it off, all that good stuff. And I was floored and flabbergasted that this thing was actually sitting in my carport. That's when it kind of hit, like, oh my God, this thing's mine. This is real. You know, it's not a loan. You know, they're not long-term riding, you know, living with, or none of that. It's just, boom, it's mine. It was going to rain the next day. So I sat out here in the carport and I messed with that dash pretty much all day long, and I made sure that the bike was dry and all that. It was crazy, but man, it was miserable just sitting here. I've got this new Livewire, and I just want to go, and it's just raining and pouring all day. So, but I did get to ride the day after that, and yeah, it's crazy the differences, because I have my 2018 Zero S, and I've been riding that primarily for 3 years. That's been my main ride. So, so going to this, and I know this is going to be a little weird. It's going to be unfair to compare a 2018 Zero S with a 13 kilowatt hour battery to a 2021 Livewire One, with 15.5 kilowatt hour battery and more torque and horsepower and all that good stuff. I know that's unfair, but it's the only real frame of reference that I have, especially when it comes to electric motorcycles. So just forgive the comparisons, but it's my only perspective on the matter. All right, so the first thing that you notice, or that I noticed on it, was the weight. The weight difference. This is 200 pounds heavier. I said my initial, I think from zero experience to 9 months, I said that thing was almost 900 pounds. Yeah, I was way off. I was combining weight, front and rear weight for some reason. I didn't know anything at the time. I was dumb. 9 months, come on. But yeah, this is 550 pounds, like 549. I just say 550. And yeah, you definitely notice the weight when you're moving it around. I've started to back the bikes in, because backing out my Zero with my own power is, it was a little tough. This thing is impossible. So before I pull in, I just turn around and back it in, because it's just way too much to deal with. The weight is astronomically more heavy, and I just didn't want to deal with that backing out of my own power. I also have to be extremely careful about where I park the bike, because there's been a couple times on the Zero where I've parked, a little bit iffy, and then I have to back out, and it was almost impossible. This thing, there'd be no way. I'd have to get somebody to come help me. So I have to be very conscious about that. When you're moving though, it's amazing. And I'll tell you what, the weight and the balance on the Livewire are intense. It's amazing how well planted, how just well built the bike is based around the weight. They did it, Harley Livewire did a really good job on putting all of the weight directly centered and as low as possible, because you feel it. You feel the weight and the balance, you feel it, like how well it's put together. And I'm not even talking about fit and finish or quality. I'm just talking about literally just the balance. I heard that a lot watching, because I watched, I'm telling you, dozens upon dozens upon dozens of Livewire videos leading up to me purchasing one. And they all talked about how well balanced it is. And, I had no real frame of reference for what that really meant, even though I've owned 3 motorcycles before my Livewire. I didn't really have a frame of reference as how well something can be built and balanced. And I definitely understand now 100% what that means when it comes to riding a motorcycle. This thing feels very planted, again, very well balanced. It feels amazing when you're going into turns and everything. They did an amazing job. That's all I can say about it. You'll have to demo one for yourself. So the other thing, I mean, obviously, is power. The difference on this, I showed, I've talked about it plenty of times. I talked about it in my update videos on the crazy difference between my Zero and then when I test rode a Livewire. The eco mode on the Livewire is faster than my sport mode. And it just only goes up from there. I think the only way my Zero can take this would be if the Livewire was in rain mode, and even then, eventually it would just go and catch up. So, yeah, I've put it in sport mode, and I made a custom mode where I turned everything up, and I've only done it a handful of times because honestly, it's a lot. It is so much power, and even if you're in traffic, for me, that's just too much power to have on tap when you're sitting in traffic or at a light or something, because that thing, I mean, it's ready to go. You hit that throttle and bang, it just goes. Unlike my Zero, which has a delay, Zero put a delay on there. So like if you hammer the throttle, it like ramps up. It's not super fast, it's not super slow either, but there's most definitely a delay when you hit that throttle. This, there's really no delay. It's just bang, let's go. So that's too much for me. So I most of the time I keep it in road mode. That's it. That's plenty enough for me to feather the throttle when I need to, the brakes, all that good stuff. Everything just works out. It's equivalent to when I was on my Zero and I went from eco to like sport. Basically the same for this. Eco and road is basically the same equivalent for me. Oh, FedEx is here. Awesome. Right when I'm recording. Cool. Anyway, so yeah, power is, I mean, there's definitely just a massive, massive distance. There's a space there when it comes to power. So, I mean, that's to be expected. This thing's brand new, and the specs are a little bit better than the Zero, just a little bit. So, anyway, yeah. So I've ridden it quite a bit, and I will say there are a couple of caveats that I just do not like about it. And again, this is first world problem stuff. You know what I mean? It's not anything of like real concern. This is just like, oh, I don't like it. It's just that kind of thing. First and foremost, turn signals. The placement is garbage. It's trash. I have all this power connected to my right hand where I do this and I can basically wheelie this thing. And I have to manipulate my thumb ever so cautiously and expertly to hit the turn signal. So I don't hit power and just go. Everything should have been on the left-hand side, especially there's a voice command button, which does nothing. It's meant for virtual assistant, Google, Siri, that kind of stuff. And it does nothing, nothing. I've seen a lot of people who can't get it going on their iPhones. I definitely can't get it going on my Android. So right now it's a useless button that could literally fit the right turn signal on there. I hate using the thumb, using my right hand where I have to do stuff. The other thing is there's a left like little joystick that you can control like media. So essentially volume up, volume down, previous track, next track. But it's so sensitive where you push it in to pause. And it's so sensitive that half the time when I push to pause, it just skips songs like all over the place. Again, first world problem. Not anything of real concern. Everything else is fantastic. A lot of people online hate the tail light and the license plate holder that goes over the back wheel. I personally like that look. It makes it look, futuristic to me. Kind of like those wheel hubs they have in futuristic movies like iRobot, where everything's like rounded. You know what I mean? Everything just feels really good on there. The fender, I like it. I like everything about kind of like the back end of this motorcycle. The seat, it's held up by part of the frame and the battery, which is like it just goes up like this. I like that look. There's nothing holding it up from the back or anything like that. It has a really unique look on it. There is another downside. The bike is so new that Corbin hasn't had any so that I can make a seat. And I know what you're thinking, this is essentially the same motorcycle as the Harley Davidson Livewires. But no, there's slight differences. They put the onboard charger, they had moved a couple things around, so the seat doesn't exactly fit. The Harley Davidson Livewire Corbin seats don't fit with the Livewire Ones. So I wish that would change. I wish they could change something about that, but they need R&D bikes, and nobody has any right now. So I love the front like cowl. I love the look of it. It's pretty amazing. It kind of has like old school Harley Davidson vibes. I like the look of it. This kind of almost has the same exact specs as far as range and all that stuff when it comes to the Zero. Zero's is like the same thing. 100 miles if you're having a good time. 140, 160 if you're being very conservative. But I noticed that on my Livewire, I can definitely go farther. I don't know if that's battery degradation from my Zero over the years, because I basically just do a loop in my town. Sometimes I switch it up, sometimes I go a couple towns over or whatever. But I basically do the same exact loop in my town. I do it once, I come home, and that's about it. And normally with my Zero, I'm about halfway done. You know, I 40 to 50%. Especially if I'm doing like my Muppet stuff, you know, Cookie Monster helmet covers and all that stuff. On my Livewire, by the time I'm done, you know, it's 60 to 70%. Again, that could be battery degradation, or it could be that the Livewire has a bigger battery, you know, better efficiency. I'm not sure, but that's just my observation. And as far as like mileage goes, a lot of people look at their mileage like, hey, how many miles do I have left? I don't even bother with that. I just look at battery and like where I'm at in relation to, you know, where my home is to gauge like, hey, you know, this is basically how much room I have left to mess around or do whatever it is that I want to do. Charging. The Livewire takes forever to charge. I'm used to my Zero. I've been pleasantly surprised by my Zero where I'll go riding like during the morning time or something, or before lunch or right at lunch, and I'll come home and I'll plug it in because I know I'm going to go ride again later that day. And I'm at, you know, 67% or something. And a couple hours later, I come back out and it's nearly full. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, it surprised me every time. But with this, the Livewire, I'm down to 70%. Man, it's going to take 3-4 hours for it to get the full. I don't need it to be full, but it's just like, man, the app on the Livewire is probably the best thing. One of the best things about the Livewire itself, because the app gives you so much information and so many options. The Zero app, you essentially have to have the bike on or plugged in charging in order to access the app and the bike and information on it. But you practically have to be standing right next to the Zero in order to even get that information, which you can just get on the dash itself. If you're already that close, what's the point of whipping out your phone and pulling up the app? You know, and if it's about to get the logs, you know, the Zero motorcycle logs about your riding and all this stuff, 99% of the time the logs don't even go on your phone. It says it's downloading and then it gets to 100% and everything just disappears and nothing happens. You actually have to use a third-party app in order to even access those logs. It's crazy. But with the Livewire app, I could literally be, you know, a state away and check my phone and see the state of charge. I get notifications if somebody messes with the motorcycle, like when it's not plugged in or it's alarmed or whatever. It lets me know right away, hey, something's going on. There's even a stolen mode. You can report the bike stolen, and you get up-to-date, real-time information about the Livewire that you can give to law enforcement. The Zero has nothing like that. And that's one of the things that really boggled my mind when I got the Zero. I'm like, you have all this technology, but I can't track the bike. I had to buy an independent tracker and have a subscription, which was $15 a month, just to make sure I have the bike tracked in some way. This, it just comes standard built in, the tracker. And it's not like it's a specific spot, like the whole system itself is a tracker. So you'd have to essentially kill the bike in order to remove that. Amazing. If you have a Livewire and you've never connected the app, I urge you to do so, because that is an amazing, amazing, amazing piece of software. So I will say that. This thing has been amazing. There hasn't really been any downside to it aside from what I mentioned. Weight, aesthetics a little bit, and just making sure that you know what you're doing with it. Fit and finish, amazing, fantastic. Everything about this bike screams, hey, I've been put together very well. Speedway Harley Davidson, where I picked it up, which is technically Speedway EV, the sales manager, Aaron, was amazing. I really, really, really liked how he handled things. He gave me t-shirts and all that stuff. Taylor, which was actually the salesman who sold me the bike, awesome guy, was super on, you know, me if I needed anything for information or any of that stuff. He helped me out a ton. And he essentially was the one who ultimately made me make the decision. So Taylor, Aaron, and everybody else that I dealt with at Speedway Harley Davidson, I appreciate you guys so much for helping me out. If you guys have a chance, they're in Concord, North Carolina. Awesome place. They have demos going constantly on anything you could possibly want. And again, they have their own Speedway EV section. So they have e-bikes there. They have electric golf carts. They have all kinds of cool stuff. The Livewire, everything. And if you want a demo, they'll hook you up. So contact them if you're near them and, hey, try out a Livewire. You know, what's the worst that's going to happen? Is you're going to have a good time? Come on. So yeah, give them a shout out to them. thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys with the support and everything, and just clicking on this and trying to get my thoughts. I will have more videos and everything, but for right now, I'm just going to keep enjoying the Livewire. Again, 1,300 miles in 3 weeks. I think that's pretty good. I don't think I did that on a zero at all. So yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching. Have you guys tried a Livewire? You guys interested? You guys have any questions about any specific experience that I've had? Just comment below, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.